Hi there, my name's Aaron Short, and welcome back to my pickup series. That's guitar pickups. And remember, these are all my own thoughts and opinions. And before we start, let me just say, yesterday I listened back to the video, and I appreciate the comments you put. I really enjoyed the sound of that Anthem mic. It sounds awesome. But today I'm here with the Fishman Infinity Blend. It was at NAMM show last year in 2018 winter, at winter 2018. And it didn't come out until around the summer, and then not many people tried it, including myself. But I've now had it installed in the Anthem guitar, pulled out the Anthem, and actually had the housing here rehoused with that pickup. So the preamp is inside. It's kind of a mess, but it works. I need to tighten up a little bit because it was rattling slightly, but you reuse the housing in these Martin guitars for other pickups, which is really cool because you can use the battery again, the jack again. Okay, so let's get into this one. This is the Fishman. It's kind of more complicated than the Anthem. It's more pro. I've done a video on the Aura that they have in their Martin guitars. There's a video, if you look on my channel, you'll see it. And I feel like that's more of a consumer-friendly version, because it just has 3 controls, not much adjustability, and I found it a bit lacking, to be honest. It wasn't really for me. It's a bit thin, couldn't dial it in. This one on the opposite side has a lot to dial in, and I'll try and mention everything. It has your classic matrix undersaddle pickup, which is really reliable, used by a lot of people, including John Mayer, Ed Sheeran. It just works, but it has this quack. They call it quack. It's like this after effect brittle kind of plasticky sound, and you'll hear it when I play just that pickup. And as I play, I'll show you which pickup I'm using. So that's the undersaddle. It does have a battery, as I said, so it's active, and a preamp, so you can plug this into anything. It has a volume control, which I just always leave that on maximum, but some people like that. Inside the sound hole, it also has an EQ control, which I think in the old version would just scoop the mids, which I liked. On this one, I think it scoops the mids and boosts the bass and boosts the treble. More of a hi-fi sound. And I can't really say that I hear it, but, well, I mean, I hear it, but it doesn't really do what I want it to do. But in the manual, they say set that all the way to the right for strumming and then use your microphone for the mids. And I think their other system, the VT Enhance, is like that too. I mean, it's usable, but with this pickup, we might want to use some external EQ as well, and I'll tell you why later on. Then we've got another control. There's a lot of things in the sound hole, right? But there's not anything stuck here or a big preamp like on the bag system, so I like that. There's a microphone which you can adjust, which again, tweakability. Great. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Sometimes this stuff drives me crazy. You know, I think a lot of people like that. If I turn it all the way in, that's the way they recommend to start with for the most cleanest sound. But you can really, again, you can dial it in. There's a blend control. So all the way to the right, for me, is going to be just that pickup. And you can actually, the cool thing is you could plug that into their Fishman Aura preamps, which I'll cover in another video. It's compatible with that. So if you do play on a stage and you don't want a mic, but you want to improve the sound, you could use another preamp or IR loader with this guitar. But it's incredibly versatile. This system is so versatile. It's awesome. And also slightly overwhelming. I'd call this the pro version of the Aura VT Enhance. And then you can blend that in. In the middle, there's an indentation, which is lovely. And that gives you half. I guess that's the recommended, like 50-50. What else? Oh, the jack is interesting. You can actually use a TRS stereo cable into 2 mono cables, and it will separate the mic and the pickup. That's, again, really professional. You can run that each one into its own mixing strip, or some preamps have 2 inputs with separate EQ. You can EQ the mic separately to the guitar. So if you want the mic to be more bassy, and it's so flexible. It's a little bit overwhelming, actually. Oh, and last but not least, there's a bass control here, which goes back and forward. I'll show you that too. I think right now it's on less bass. I don't even know. I'm just, yeah. We'll hear it as we go. I must use the headphones for that, of course. And I'll show you each thing. I can't talk. Well, if I talk, you'll probably hear me through the mic and the guitar, but I'll just point at what I'm doing, and hopefully you'll hear what I'm doing at the time. All right, so I think we should do a demo of this. First of all, I've noticed that the guitar sounds awesome. to me, it sounds a bit more responsive. Got no issue there. It does add a little bit of weight, of course. I make 5-6 ounces or something with a battery. Again, I'm using lithium battery for more battery life. I think that's really important. And yeah, I mean, with these videos, I may come back and add stuff because, you know, I change my mind a lot. I keep going back and forth on stuff. So I probably should have called this channel the pickup channel, but people might have got the wrong idea. I don't know. All right, let's start with the, what did we start with last time? Let's start with just the undersaddle pickup. I need to tell you what I'm doing as we go or you're going to get lost. So I'm going to put the tone control all the way to the left, which is basically off. The volume on maximum, the bass switch, well, we'll see where that is. I'll play with that. And then I'm going to use the blend control off. So you're just going to hear the undersaddle. It should sound kind of plasticky. Let me bring it up and I'll bring the mic down and play that. So you can compare that to the sound from yesterday's video with the timestamps, and you can open 2 windows and compare the sound directly. That's kind of cool. Now let's scoop out all the mids to show you what you can do with that. Now I'll do the bass switch. I'll turn it to the other position and back again. So I think I have it on less bass, but I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell. My headphones aren't that loud, but you can crank this up and you can hear it. So that all sounds pretty standard, right? That sounds like your standard kind of pickup. I mean, sometimes you want it. If you've got a loud stage, this thing will not, it won't feed back, this pickup like this. I mean, it's cool, you know. If you're playing a rock band, you want to use this part of the pickup, so it's good to have it. And the Anthem has it too, to be fair. Now let's play with the mic. So the mic is in the recommended position. Let's put the blend on 50% blend. Here you go. Now put it onto 100% microphone. Actually, with 100, you lose all the bass. You'll hear that. I'll do 100, I'll bring it back to 90. Now I'm going to scoop the mids out with the pick. I see. So this is full mic, just under. It's 90% mic and scoop mids. Okay, so I don't think it sounds as pretty as the Anthem, and I think I know why that is. I think it's because the Anthem uses the mic only for the highs and also possibly scoops out some mids for you. This one, I seem to hear that piezo pickup with the mic, even when it's on a high mic blend. And I noticed that at a gig as well. I've used this at 3 gigs now. And I had very inspiring, nice sound, much better than any Fishman. This is the best Fishman they've ever made, right? And some of the songs gave me goosebumps, like the sound. I loved it. Oh, I loved the sound. It's so good. But last night I played it and I had a speaker right behind me and it was bouncing off the wall in the corner and hitting this mic right there. And it was just starting to, there was a note here that kept starting to feed like a honky sound. And I think that was a mixture of the mic and the pickup. And I know it was awful. So what I did was I took a beer coaster, I taped it over the sound hole and it fixed everything. So I think that's important. With this system, I think the mic is so exposed here on the edge of the guitar. You want to keep this in your bag and make sure they install it so it's not right against the, so it's slightly back from the lip of the sound hole, so you can still get this thing in. In fact, let me show you the pickup. I want to just show you a demo with the in and out. Now, do you think that changes the sound? I think it might do something to it, but it really fixed all my issues. And you can also get ones with like holes in them. You can cut some holes so you can still get to controls. I think when you use a big rubber plug like this, I think it just kind of kills the guitar a little bit too much. But it's a great, I mean, if you're going to be gigging, you want to use the mic at all, I think you should keep one of these in your gig bag. I'm not a fan of these things, but last night I really struggled. Now, I could have just put it over to the pickup only, but I just don't get inspired by that sound. I've come to realize that I like the sound of a great piezo with a great mic. I do like that sound. The other thing I noticed is on my Bose S1 Pro, plugging in Fishman or an undersaddle, the Yamaha too, into that, it sounds terrible. There's a honk, another honk, right? And the guitar setting on the S1 Pro, it has some EQ. I wish they would tell us what the EQ does, but they don't. That actually makes it sound awesome. I think what the Anthem is doing is scooping out and not using the undersaddle as much and scooping some out, whereas we need to do that ourselves. So I think if you use the sound stopper, and if you cut the right mids from this, I think it can sound like the Anthem. I really do, because I did some comparing earlier on and I could hear it sounded very similar, if not the same. So in that regard, the Anthem is a lot more plug and play. Like I said, you put that in, you crank the mic up, you plug it in, it sounds sweet and full and hi-fi and themic. It really does deserve the name Anthem. It's great. But this one is cool because it is adjustable. It does have like the separate sends. This is more professional, but you will have to dial it in a bit more. I would start with their recommendation, which is the mic aimed right at the back of the guitar, the tone all the way to the right, the volume all the way to the right, and the blend around 50%. I would start with that. And I would then try and use an external mixer or controls in your amp to take a bit of mid out if you want to. It depends on the guitar too, of course. But I would probably use an external EQ if I could. I mean, I didn't use one last night and it sounded fine. But I think to really optimize this, you want to plug it into a mixer, find that mid frequency and take it down a bit. Even use those separate channels. I think this is more professional than the Anthem. And I do honestly think it sounds better acoustically with this system, so I like that. So it's really pros and cons. They're both really great. Congratulations to Fishman. This is the best thing they've ever done, I believe. It's a real step in the right direction. I hope they can continue to evolve this. It's really cool. And I think the best thing for me to do is to come back and give more thoughts with more gigs and comparing again. And that's why I like this channel, because I can voice all these things and keep adding to it, And then what I need to do now is just play the guitar without the, so you can compare the mic sound. Oh, wait, the pickup is still on. Here you go. So I'll put some timestamps in here so you can go back and forth between the videos and listen to the different settings and compare them. Again, don't take that. I mean, you can use that as a guide, and I think it's very useful, but you can't beat trying these things. And what I can say is, again, the Anthem always worked for me in any situation. And actually, I had it in a Rain song for a year, and people loved it, and they used to tell me how great the sound was. And that thing had a thick body, and it used to get a ton of bass that sounds like a kick drum when you hit it. It's really cool. I just think that's probably the one to go for if you're on the fence. But like I said, it's not quite as flexible and tweakable. And I do think this one affects the sound of the guitar. I think the soft Anthem slightly takes some high end away. I mean, you might. I don't like saying it again because it might just be me, but I've heard it several times. This Fishman is cool, and I would say get an Aura pedal as well. You really versatile, this system, and the price is $299.95, about the same as the Anthem, so no surprise there. That's from Sweetwater right now. What kind is it? Well, this is a dual source pickup. It's the undersaddle and the microphone here, so that's a dual source, and it's active because it has a battery. Remember, if it's got a battery, it's active. All right, so what do I like about this pickup? Well, I like that it is easy to install, doesn't seem to affect the sound or feel of the guitar, because some things do, as I said before. I like that it's adjustable. I like the sound. It's powerful. It can be powerful, and I like how versatile it is. And I like the battery life. It's got the long battery life again, 100 hours plus. Again, it's important, What don't I like about it? Well, I don't like that it's so adjustable because I got to tweak it. Tweaking is good and tweaking is bad, right? But if you start with their recommended settings, it does sound really cool. I don't like that you need to use a feedback buster with it, but that's not the end of the world, and you should always probably have one of these with you anyway. And like I said, cut the holes in this one so you can still reach the controls. You just cut it with a knife, but be careful. Or if you get stuck, use a beer coaster with tape, but not on your most expensive guitar. And what else do I not like about it? I don't like the fact it can feed back because the mic is right there, but that can kind of fix that. I don't like that honky mid sound from the system. And I guess I like if they dialed it out for us, but then again, maybe not. So that's something I have to investigate. I'll probably do a follow-up video on that and see if I can do a video using actually EQ on Logic or something to tweak and enhance the pickup. But I've done 2 shows with it. It worked great. I'm extremely fussy. It's an all-in-one, and you really can't go wrong. I'm really impressed. So for me so far, the Anthem and the Fishman Infinity Blend are right up there at the top. The Anthem, if you don't want to mess around, and the Fishman, if you want to be able to mess around, I would say right now. But that might change. So please subscribe and stay tuned. I'll be back soon I've still got a few more pickups to go. And if anyone would like to send me a pickup to demo, I'm happy to do that as well. Well, I mean, if you could send it in the guitar, it'd be even better. Yeah, of course, because I don't want to take this out here right now. One more thing I didn't mention before. The Anthem uses that weird stereo jack, which doesn't always work with some wireless system. Now, with wireless, this is another topic I'll go into another day, but wireless systems, the cheap ones right now that a lot of people like to use, like the Line 6 and the X5 and things. Well, that Anthem doesn't work with a lot of them, and also it gets interference from like the X5. So that doesn't really work with wireless systems very well unless you use adapters and things. What I found is this one does, at least in this guitar, the way it's set up inside, because I've had it modded. But this one doesn't. It seems to work with all of the wireless systems I've used without interference. So that could be a big plus for you, So all around, this kind of ticks all of the boxes. It's that I can think of. It could just be a little bit lighter possibly, but even the weight isn't bad. So I am super impressed. But I've only had it for 2 gigs now, and I mean they've both been fine. But let's leave it that I love the pickup, and if I come back with a video with an update, with a final decision, or in my summary video at the end of this series, then you'll know. And I guess, yeah, by the end of the series, I'll have had time to try it some more. I'm going to try it a lot. I'm playing 5 times a week. If you're in New York, come and say hi. And if you've got any tips for me on how to optimize these things, leave them in the comments below. Please subscribe, share, like and share. Get me up to 1,000 subs. I'm going to NAMM as well. And there'll be more pickups. So this could become the pickup channel. All right, so until next time, I'll see you soon. Keep strumming. Oh, that's the mic, not the pickup.